On February 17th and 18th, the City of Auburn held two interactive community forums to help address the school board's options regarding the development of a new campus to house the rising student capacity in grades K through 12. Mr. Tracy Richter from DeJong Richter, an educational planning firm, came to speak to the attendees on the possible options that were available for the development of Auburn City schools.
We are going to roll out 4 options for new school buildings in Auburn City Schools. We have a facilities planning group made up of citizens in our community that have been working for several months with Mr. Tracy Richter, a facilitator. He's also the CEO of an educational planning firm. He'll also give information on projected enrollment growth for Auburn City Schools over the next 10 years.
Now, even though going after the referendum in the fall may not have succeeded for whatever reason it is, to regroup and sit back and say, hey, let's take a second look at this and let's see exactly what our options out there are. Because there's a lot of different ways to do this, and we all know that. And we all come here, is my guess, with some interest in an opinion of what that direction will be. You know what? We need a roadmap. We need a direction that tells us what our next steps are going to be. So we spent a couple of days, and not more than a couple of days, we spent several days together working through how we'd like to see facilities in the future. But we went a step beyond that. We talked about education in the future and trying to project how education is going to be, because when you build a building, folks, it's not for the first 10 years. That's great to think about that. But a building you build will last 50, 60, 70 years. But tonight, we're still in the data collection process where we take written response to the survey. Now, what we're trying to do is we're trying to kind of feel out in the community to see, what is your tolerance for the roadmap? Where can we go? And that's what this process is about. One of the things that this community has to deal with is this idea of how big your high school is going to be and how big your comfort level with your high school is going to be. And so tonight, we look at options. First thing is, these are options and not recommendations. Let's be very clear. If they were recommendations, folks, there'd be one option. And if there's one option, it's not really an option because it's one. So these are options out there. Typically what starts to happen in something like this is that when you see multiple options out there, the community really starts to blend these things. It starts to say, well, you know what? That one really has some positive about it, but I really like this about the other option. And so what you start to see is this blend of things. Now ultimately, there's a cost to each of these. What I want you to focus on tonight is the option itself. You're going to see a cost on there, and that obviously will influence you. But even when you're looking at each option, I want you to look at each option objectively. Again, I'm going to go back to the first step to that is creating the roadmap.
Option 1 would divide our K through 5 schools into 9. We would have 2 middle schools serving grades 6 through 8 and 2 high schools that would serve grades 9 through 12. These would be 2 completely separate middle schools, one located at Drake and one located at AJHS, and 2 completely separate high schools, one located at the current AHS site and one that would be built at a new location. The total cost for option 1 is $144,990,000. Option 2 is similar to option 1 in that it calls for 9 elementary schools serving grades K through 5, but then divides into 2 middle schools that would serve grades 6 and 7 instead of 6 through 8 like in option 1. These middle schools will be located at Drake and AJHS. There would be 1 common junior high school serving grades 8 and 9, and then students would divide again into 2 separate high schools serving grades 10 through 12. Both high schools would be built new. The total cost for option 2 is $139,875,000. Option 3, like options 1 and 2, still includes the 9 elementary schools serving grades K through 5, but then divides into 2 middle schools serving grades 6 and 7 at the current Drake and AJHS campuses. From there, the middle schools merge into 1 junior high school, which will be at the current AHS campus and serve grades 8 and 9. Grades 10 through 12 will then move to a new high school that can accommodate 3,200 students at the new Sanford site. The total cost for option 3 is $139,875,000. Option 4 provides for 11 elementary schools that would serve K through 6 students. Students would move into 2 separate junior high school campuses serving grades 7 and 8 and would be located at the current Drake and AJHS sites. From there, students will move into a new 9th grade center located at the new Sanford site. Also at the new Sanford site will be a technology and career center serving grades 10 through 12. The high school would, for a time, remain at the current AHS site. The plan for this option is to eventually convert the 9th grade center into what will be the future Auburn High School. The total cost for option 4 is $154,365,000.
I want you to look at those options objectively. You're going to be asked several questions. Those questions are going to vary from how do you feel about that option to then ranking those options in order.
Since Auburn's Community Forum, Auburn City Schools has announced plans to build 2 new high schools and an additional elementary school within the next 10 years. These additional campuses will help accommodate the growing student enrollment numbers in Auburn City Schools. The first high school is set to be built on the new Sanford Avenue site. This high school will open its doors in the fall of 2017 and house grades 10 through 12 with a capacity of 2,200. The old Auburn High School will become an 8th and 9th grade junior high school. The junior high campus will be converted to a 7th grade campus, making the J.F. Drake campus a 6th grade only school. In the fall of 2019, Auburn City Schools will open an additional set of elementary schools, a K through 2 and a 3 through 5 located on the same site that is yet to be determined. Once student enrollment reaches a critical point for grades 10 through 12, expected around the year 2020, the process of developing the second high school will begin. This high school will house grades 9 through 12 with a capacity of 1,600. A site for this campus has yet to be decided. Following the second high school's development, the first high school built on the Sanford site will begin housing grades 9 through 12 instead of 10 through 12. The junior high and the current old high school campus will be housing 7th and 8th graders at both facilities. In summary, Auburn City Schools facilities plan of 2024 will include the following grade configuration: 5 schools housing grades K through 2, 5 schools housing grades 3 through 5, 1 school housing grade 6, 2 schools housing grades 7 and 8, and 2 schools housing grades 9 through 12. The total cost of the 2024 facilities plan will be just over $163 million. Funding will be provided through the City of Auburn as they increase school funding by $5.8 million annually starting in the 2015 fiscal year. This will add up to approximately $15.3 million in annual funding for Auburn City Schools. To find this video as well as the options and presentation in a PDF format, please visit www.auburnschools.org.